Creation's freedom promises my own. Creation's freedom promises my own. Thank you all so much for joining me today in studying A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students. We're reading from the original edition here on October the 6th of 2022, Lesson 279. Creation's freedom promises my own. The end of dreams is promised me because God's Son is not abandoned by His love. Only in dreams is there a time when He appears to be in prison and awaits a future freedom, if it be at all. Yet in reality His dreams are gone, with truth established in their place, and now is freedom His already. Should I wait in chains which have been severed for release when God is offering me freedom now? That's a good question. Should I wait in chains which have been severed for release when God is offering me freedom now? Creation's freedom promises my own. And the prayer says, I will accept your promises today and give my faith to them. My Father loves the Son whom He created as His own. Would you withhold the gifts you gave to me? And of course He wouldn't. Creation's freedom promises my own. We'll read that once again before we end. Let's go take a look at our next section in chapter 27, The Body and the Dream. And it's section 5, The Quiet Answer. In quietness are all things answered, and is every problem quietly resolved. In quietness are all things answered, and is every problem quietly resolved. In conflict, there can be no answer and no resolution, for its purpose is to make no resolution possible, and to ensure no answer will be plain. A problem set in conflict has no answer, for it is seen in different ways. And what would be an answer from one point of view is not an answer in another light. You are in conflict. Thus it must be clear you cannot answer anything at all, for conflict has no limited effects. Yet if God gave an answer, there must be a way in which your problems are resolved, for what He wills already has been done. 37. Thus it must be that time is not involved, and every problem can be answered now. Wow, listen to that. Thus it must be that time is not involved, and every problem can be answered now. Yet it must also be that in your state of mind, solution is impossible. Therefore, God must have given you a way of reaching to another state of mind in which the answer is already there. Wow, another state of mind where the answer is already there. Such is the holy instant. It is here that all your problems should be brought and left. In the holy instant. That's that other state of mind. And it is here that all your problems should be brought and left. How do you reach that holy instant? Well, I'll give you a good hint. Take your morning and evening extended period of meditation. And throughout the day, whenever you can, at least every hour, bring the idea to your mind. Creation's freedom promises my own today, is what we would say. But in that little short moment, maybe a minute, maybe a little longer, you can have a holy instant. Just be still and quiet and give up. Let go and let God. God must have given you a way of reaching to another state of mind in which the answer is already there. Such is the holy instant. It is here that all your problems should be brought and left. Here they belong, for here their answer is. And where its answer is, a problem must be simple and be easily resolved. It must be pointless to attempt to solve a problem where the answer cannot be, yet just as surely it must be resolved if it is brought to where the answer is. Makes sense, doesn't it? Attempt to solve no problems but within the holy instant's surety, for there the problem will be answered and resolved. Outside there will be no solution, for there is no answer there that could be found. Nowhere outside a single simple question is ever asked. Nowhere outside the holy instant a single simple question is ever asked. The world can only ask a double question with many answers, none of which will do. It does not ask a question to be answered, but only to restate its point of view. All questions asked within this world are but a way of looking, not a question asked. A question asked in hate cannot be answered, because it is an answer in itself. A double question asks and answers, both attesting the same thing in different form. 39. The world asks but one question. It is this: of these illusions, which of them are true? Which ones establish peace and offer joy? And which can bring escape from all the pain of which this world is made? Whatever form the question takes, its purpose is the same. It asks but to establish sin is real, and answers in the form of preference. Which sin do you prefer? That is the one which you should choose. The others are not true. What can the body get that you would want the most of all? It is your servant and your friend. But tell it what you want, and it will serve you lovingly and well. And this is not a question, for it tells you what you want and where to go for it. It leaves no room to question its beliefs, except that what it states takes question's form. A pseudo-question has no answer. It dictates the answer even as it asks. Thus is all questioning within the world a form of propaganda for itself. Just as the body's witnesses are but the senses from within itself, so are the answers to the questions of the world contained within the questions. Where answers represent the questions, they add nothing new, and nothing has been learned. 41. An honest question is a learning tool which asks for something that you do not know. Okay, now there you go. Now we have an honest question. An honest question is a learning tool which asks for something that you do not know. It does not set conditions for response, but merely asks what the response should be. But no one in a conflict state is free to ask this question, for he does not want an answer where the conflict ends. Only within the holy instant can an honest question honestly be asked. Only within the holy instant can an honest question be honestly asked. And from the meaning of the question does the meaningfulness of the answer come. Here is it possible to separate your wishes from the answer, so it can be given you and also be received. The answer is provided everywhere, yet it is only here it can be found. The answer's, what's he say? The answer is provided everywhere. Boy, that sure speaks of the lesson today. Creation's freedom promises my own. It's in all creation. The answer is provided everywhere, but it is only here it can be heard, in the holy instant. 42. An honest answer asks no sacrifice, because it answers questions truly asked. The questions of the world but ask of whom is sacrifice demanded, asking not if sacrifice is meaningful at all. And so unless the answer tells of whom, it will remain unrecognized, unheard, and thus question is preserved intact, because it gave the answer to itself. Let's read that sentence again. Back 2 sentences. Forgiveness is not yet... Nope, I turned 2 pages. Sorry about the quiet answer. An honest answer asks no sacrifice, because it answers questions truly asked. The question of the world but ask of whom is sacrifice demanded, asking not if sacrifice is meaningful at all. And so unless the answer tells, in quotes, of whom, it will remain unrecognized, unheard, and thus the question is preserved intact, because it gave the answer to itself. The holy instant is the interval in which the mind is still enough to hear an answer which is not entailed within the question asked. Again, the holy instant is the interval in which the mind is still enough. We want to get our minds still, don't we? The holy instant is the interval in which the mind is still enough to hear an answer which is not entailed within the question asked. It offers something new and different from the question. How could it be answered if it but repeats itself? And the last paragraph, 43, therefore attempt to solve no problems in a world from which the answer has been barred, but bring the problem to the only place which holds the answer lovingly for you. Here are the answers which will solve your problems, because they stand apart from them, and see what can be answered, what the question is. Within the world, the answers merely raise another question, though they leave the first unanswered. In the holy instant, you can bring the question to the answer and receive the answer that was made for you. The Holy Spirit's work. Okay, and that we want to learn to get into that holy instant. What more can I say other than that's what our lessons are all designed to do, to bring us to that interval, that holy instant. Lesson 279. Creation's freedom promises my own. And the associated reading with that is, what is the Christ? I tell you what, before we read what is the Christ, let me tell you a little bit more about Blackberry's health benefits according to the MarinnickKitchen.com. And they're talking about the Rubus fruticosus, which I'm thinking that the Alleganiensis and all the other blackberries probably have the same benefits, but do your own research. But here's what it says in the blackberry, about the blackberry leaf. Traditionally, the leaves are used to support sore throat, mouth ulcers, bleeding gums, and other oral problems. You know, I didn't even know that blackberries had any benefit in the leaves at all. Here I've been eating blackberries. They grow everywhere on my property, and they grow a lot in the Ozarks. It's blackberries you can find easily. Well, look at all the benefits. Blackberry leaves tonify the layers of the intestines, especially mucosa. This tonifying attribute helps reduce inflammation of the intestines and cure severe diarrhea. Topically, the leaves are applied as poultices to heal wounds, reduce pain and itchiness of insect bites and stings, and aids in curing hemorrhoids. Blackberry leaves are high in various physiologically active ingredients like salicylic acid, flavanoids, ellagic acid, anthocyanins, polyphenols, and fibers. The blackberry tea leaf, the ancient Romans loved drinking the blackberry leaf tea as a curative measure for various illnesses. So they knew about it in the Roman times, been using it for a long time, evidently. Okay, anyway, that's just a little bit more about the blackberry leaf tea. We all know about the blackberry, and they themselves are really good, have a lot of antioxidants in them. But I guess the leaves just really trump the berry itself. So anyway, I'm starting to drink more blackberry tea. Been trying to find things that could help my brother on his healing journey. What is the Christ? Christ is God's Son as He created Him. He is the self we share, uniting us with one another and with God as well. He is the thought which still abides within the mind that is His source. He has not left His holy home, nor lost the innocence in which He was created. He abides unchanged forever in the mind of God. Christ is the link that keeps you one with God and guarantees that separation is no more than an illusion of despair. For hope forever will abide in Him. Your mind is part of His and His of yours. He is the part in which God's answer lies, where all decisions are already made and dreams are over. He remains untouched by anything the body's eyes perceive. For though in Him His Father placed the means for your salvation, yet does He remain the self, who like His Father knows no sin. Home of the Holy Spirit and at home in God alone, does Christ remain at peace within the heaven of your holy mind. This is the only part of you that has reality and truth. The rest is dreams. Yet will these dreams be given unto Christ to fade before His glory and reveal your holy self, the Christ, to you at last. The Holy Spirit reaches from the Christ in you to all your dreams and bids them come to Him to be translated into truth. He will exchange them for the final dream, which God appointed as the end of dreams. For when forgiveness rests upon the world and peace has come to every son of God, what could remain to keep things separate? For what remains to see except Christ's face? And how long will this holy face be seen when it is but the symbol that the time for learning now is over and the goal of the atonement has been reached at last? So therefore let us seek to find Christ's face and look on nothing else. As we behold His glory, will we know we have no need of learning or perception or of time or anything except the holy self, the Christ whom God created as His Son. And our lesson once again, creation's freedom promises my own. The end of dreams is promised me because God's Son is not abandoned by His love. Only in dreams is there a time when He appears to be in prison and awaits a future freedom, if it be at all. Yet in reality His dreams are gone, with truth established in their place, and now is freedom His already. Should I wait in chains which have been severed for release, when God is offering me freedom now? I will accept your promises today and give my faith to them. My Father loves the Son whom He created as His own. Would you withhold the gifts you gave to me? Creation's freedom promises my own.